We've just deployed our updated Excel crypto tracker and exit planner strategy workbook, and it's free for you to download today. Up till now, this workbook has had over 100,000 downloads of people using it to track their cryptocurrency and to plan their exit strategy. But with your feedback, we've now updated this and added a whole host of new features. We have personalized setup. We have an easy to navigate menu. We've got an area where you can easily add your purchases and your sales. We have a dashboard that updates with live pricing that is also interactive, so you can track and manage your portfolio. We have notifications for tokens that are popping. We have notifications for buyback opportunities. And we've also notifications for actions that you might need to take to keep your dashboard up to date. And all of this is completely free. The download link is available in the comments below this video. The importance of a crypto tracker like this in Excel is that you own your data. You're not sharing your data with anybody at all. Whereas when you use an online crypto tracker and you connect your wallet to it, you become the data. You don't get these products for free for nothing, except for our Excel workbook that you can download and use today. We collect absolutely no personal data about your wallets or anything else like that. You just need to give your email address and you can download the workbook immediately. So what we're going to do in this video, because as I said, there's a huge amount in this Excel crypto tracker and exit planner sheet. So what we're going to look at in this video is how to set it up, how to enter purchase transactions, how to enter sales transactions, how to make sure that it all balances correctly, how to use the dashboard. Now, there's another video tutorial by Simon over on the Crptorats channel, and I'll drop a link below this video to that, where he goes through in detail the exit planner strategy. Now, this workbook also contains a number of calculators, and in a separate video I'm going to show you how I use these calculators to decide on my exit prices for when I'm doing my exit strategy. So there's loads more to come. Please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share the link with everybody so everybody has access to this feature-filled workbook. So let's hop in now and have a look at how we can use it. When you download this workbook at the start, the first thing we have to do is go through the setup. And when you open the workbook, you may get an option to change the data source privacy. Now, it's really important that you make the data source privacy public. The reason for this is because you're using a public API to pull in live pricing information. You're not sharing any information. As we mentioned earlier, this workbook is totally private and you share no information with anybody at all. If when you open the workbook at the start, you don't get the options to change the privacy settings, if you go to the data ribbon and from the data ribbon go to get data, and from get data you're going to go to data source settings. In your data source settings for the current workbook, you are going to edit your permissions and you're going to ensure that your privacy is set to public. Now, like I said, this isn't for sharing information out, it's because you're using a public API to pull the data in. So once you have that done, you can then continue with the setup. So it asks you first for your name. So let's put in my name, and then it just gives a little disclaimer to say that we're not responsible for your financial decisions and you need to agree this. Once you agree this, you'll be given access to more details on the workbook. You'll get a link directly to this tutorial video, a tutorial video by Simon on the exit strategy, and there's also a tutorial video available on the calculators. From here, you can also, if you wish, join one of our meetups. We meet Tuesdays and Thursdays online. It'd be great to see you. But from here, if you click this little icon, it's going to bring you to the next page of the setup. Now, in here, what you need to select is your local currency, so your reporting currency. So for myself, I would be Euro, but I know many people will be GBP, a lot will be US dollar. Now, once you set this, it's advisable that you do not change it at all. This buyback drop, now this is for a notification that you will get if a particular token drops by a specified percentage. You get a notification to say it's dropped and you may have a buyback opportunity. So let's say if it drops by 20%, we have to use a minus figure here because it's dropped. Now next we have its popping. And what does its popping mean? Well, sometimes tokens, they explode in one day and they pop by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% in one day. And you might want to be able to keep an eye on when this is happening for quick exits from the market. So we could put in a popping percentage as well of 20%. If something is popping by 20%, we will get a notification. Now, anywhere you see this little fella here, click him and he's going to bring you to the main menu. Now, this is your main menu. We've got the dashboard, exit strategy, enter transactions, all other actions, extra coins. Listen, I'm going to go through all of this for you. This will bring you back to the instructions page as we've seen. This will bring you back to the setup page. This will bring you to just look at the top 250 tokens from CoinGecko, and this will bring you to a calculators menu, which we're going to go through in a different video. So that is the main menu. The next thing that we're going to look at is entering purchase transactions and fiat currencies. So if we click here, click me to enter transactions, and this is the page where you're going to enter all of your sales and all of your purchases. Now we're going to look at sales much later on. We're going to stick with purchases here for the moment and entering fiat values. Up the top here we have capital introduced, your fiat introduced. So how much capital did you initially put into cryptocurrency? So let's say we put in 60,000. Capital or fiat withdrawals, when you take money back out, you would enter it in here. And if you scroll over here, we see that we have other income. And other income, this would include farming income, interest, staking income, airdrops, etc. And you put in the value on the date of receipt. And you need to keep them values up to date. Now for your purchases, when you make a purchase, you enter it into this area of the screen. Any cells in this peachy color are data entry cells. They're cells that you can enter values into. If it's a gray cell, it's a calculation cell and there's a formula within that particular cell. So let's say we bought some, I have some raw data in here. Let's say on the 1st of the 1st, 23, and on the 1st of the 1st, 23, and on the 1st of the 5th, 23. Let's just say, for example, we bought some Bitcoin. We bought one Bitcoin. It cost us 22,000 euro, and it's 22 per coin. It calculates the per coin value for us. Now, your total cost here. When I'm entering in my total cost, I also include any fees and all that I've paid. So the total amount that I've actually spent goes in here. So let's just say that we also bought, so let's say we bought on the 1st of the 5th, again, 23, we bought some token called OVR. And let's say that we bought 2,000 of these tokens, and 2,000 of these tokens, let's say, cost us 500 euro. So we can see that our cost price was 25 cents. Now, let's say we bought 4,000 of them and our cost price was 1,000. We'd see that this all updates when we update our tokens. Let's put in another token here on the 1st of the 5th. Let's put in Solana. So that came in 2024, 1st of the 5th, 23. And let's say we bought Solana. So I'll put in Sol. And let's say we bought 1,000 of them and it cost us 27,000 euro. So they were 27 euro each when we bought them. So we would enter all of our purchases as we make them into the spreadsheet here. Now, once you enter in any details in your workbook, you need to refresh the data on your workbook so everything updates for you. So we have some sales in here. So let's hop over to our dashboard for a second, and let's show you how you can actually update the dashboard and what's on the dashboard and how you can use it. So to update your dashboard, you go to refresh and refresh all, and you'll see down here it's running a background query, and when the query is finished you'll see this will have stopped. It's finished now and it's updated to include the additional tokens that we bought. What we can see here is our overall least profitable coin, our overall most profitable coin, our average 24-hour change, our total investment value, total acquisition cost, unrealized profit and loss, return on investment. When we start entering sales, and I've got some pretend data in here already, we've got sales, value, profits taken, and cost of sales. Over here then we also have this actions to take button. You need to keep an eye on this, and I'm going to go through this now in a minute. But first let's continue looking at the charts that we have. The first chart that we have shows a breakdown in holding of tokens. So we can see here on this chart that the orange is the cost price, the blue is the current value. So you can quite clearly see how much you're holding. At the moment, this isn't populated, this isn't populated. Total breakdown over holding, I'll go through. Breakdown versus sold. So in this, we'll see that we've held 98, we've already sold 3%. If we come over here, when we start taking profits, this is going to move up based on the profit levels that we put in our take profit strategy sheet. If we scroll down further, when we start using our take profit sheet, it's going to populate these figures here for us, and you'll understand it all once we populate all the figures. Then if we scroll down a little bit further, we get a table of our tokens that's shown the ticker, the current price, 24-hour change, investment value, acquisition cost, unrealized P&L, unrealized return on investment, your sales, profits, and so forth. So all of that data is available really quickly for you on the dashboard. Now over here, we've got a nothing to see here button at the moment, which we will go through in a second. But we also have this actions button, and these are actions that we need to take. So let's take a look at this when we click it. So first of all, it is saying that we need to take profits on ETH. I'm going to show you that in a minute. We need to include OVR on the extra coins list, and we need to add Sol to the exit strategy. So let's start with the extra coins list. So I'm going to click here to go to our extra coins list. Now, why do we need this? Well, the API that we're using pulls in the top 200 tokens, and anything below that we have to actually put in manually, or it won't be able to pull the price in for us. So again, on this sheet here, it's the orange cells that you want to actually populate. So what do we populate these with? Well, we need the ticker, the ID, and the name. And where do we get these? Well, we're going to fly over to CoinGecko.com, and in CoinGecko I've gone to the token OVR. Now the ticker is OVR, so we know that that is the ticker. And if we scroll down here a little bit further, we have an API ID which is also OVR. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, and the ID is pasted in here. We know our ticker name for this particular token is also OVR, and we also know the name is OVR. Now be really careful here, because the ticker and the ID and the name are not always going to be the same. So you need to make sure you put these in the right place. So the name will be, as we see up here, it'll be the name of the token. The ticker then we know is OVR. We can see it up here in the bar. It's OVR, and the API is OVR. So make sure you have the right details in. So now that I have that in, if I go back to my dashboard and I do a quick refresh, we see this is still saying 3 actions to take. So let's click into our actions and have a look. Now it's telling us that we're waiting for a price target on Bitcoin. We have to take profits on Ethereum, add OVR to exit strategy, and add Sol to exit strategy. Now, the exit strategy sheet is going to be covered in a huge amount more detail in another video by Simon, and you'll find a link in the workbook to it and a link below this video. But let me go over and quickly show you the exit strategy sheet. When you enter your purchases into the transaction entry sheet, it will automatically, when you do a refresh on your exit strategy sheet, it'll create this table showing you the ticker, the initial holding, and the average per coin. When you're doing your cash out strategy sheet, you need to enter all your tickers that you have into this column here. Remember, the peaches are where you enter data. So enter in your ticker and it's automatically going to pull up the current price for that particular token for you. You then need to decide what your selling point is. So if you're going to dollar cost average, we have a number of selling points on this particular spreadsheet that you can go through. It goes up to, I think, 5 selling points. So you can dollar cost average out your sales. So you decide on your first selling point. You enter the value here of what your first selling point is going to be. And then when you've decided what your selling point is, you also need to enter in here. So let's just say this was blank. These would all be blank. You would also need to enter in here the percentage of tokens that you want to sell at that particular selling point. And it's automatically going to populate these cells here for you. Now, sometimes you don't fully stick to your exit strategy, and this can happen for a number of reasons. First of all, you don't have your orders actually set up to sell on an exchange. So when the price reaches the level that you've set, it might go slightly over by the time you get to make the sale. You also might find you sell slightly more tokens or something like that than what you had originally planned to sell, because you want to exit the market or for other reasons your strategy changes. So it's the strategy sheet that you need to keep up to date. So for example, if we say that we were going to sell 10% of all of our tokens, but then we decide for Ethereum, well, on our first sale, we're actually going to sell 1. Well, then we can overwrite the token sold in this particular area. We can also, as you know, overwrite the price. So this is just for when you don't actually fully comply with your strategy for whatever reason it is. Now, when you have this updated, again, what we need to do is do a data and a refresh. And now this is going to update the dashboard for you, and it's also going to update any actions that you might have to take. So I've come back over to the dashboard here, and you'll notice now when we scroll down, in our dashboard, we see that we have an exit profit strategy amount here. And if you follow your strategy exactly, that's how much profit you'll be exiting the market with. So it's important to make sure you have your strategy set up. And like I said, you will see that in another video by Simon. Now, if we come over here, we still have one action to take. And the action is to take profit on ETH at selling point 1. So let's go back to our sales exit strategy for a minute. And in here, we see that we were going to sell 0.6 ETH at when it reached 3,000 euro. If we go back to our sales sheet, so enter transactions, and in our transactions here, we can now enter our sales. Now, the strategy is set up to make you stick to your strategy, because one of the issues in crypto is people have a plan and they don't stick to it. And when they don't stick to it, that's when things actually go wrong. So we've set up our strategy. If you need to make changes, so if you don't sell on your actual strategy levels, what you need to do is go back to your exit strategy and manually change the figures in here to what you actually did sell for. And I'll show you the reason now. So let's say we come along now and we want to sell some Ethereum. So if we enter in ETH here, and we're told it's time to take profits on our first one, and it's saying that we had 0.6 in. Now we can see if we jump over to our exit strategy, we were going to be selling 0.6 ETH at 3,000 euro. So let's go back to our transaction entry sheet, and in here we actually enter the amount we actually got. So let's say we got 1,700, and once we enter in the amount, it'll tell us per coin how much we actually sold it for, the cost and the profit. If we sold it for the 2,000, it shows us that it was 3.33. So the actual amount you get, you put in here. Now here's the thing, if you actually sell a different amount of coins, what you need to do, as I said, is go back over here to the exit strategy, and in the exit strategy, let's overwrite this figure with 1, and let's say that we sold 1 Ethereum. For whatever reason, we didn't follow our exit strategy sheet, we sold a little bit more, and we got 3,000 for the sale. We can see that it was 3,000 per coin, it cost us 2, and our profit. So as we mentioned earlier, once you make these changes, you then need to do a refresh on your workbook. So if we go to data, refresh all, and refresh this, and while it's refreshing, if we just jump over now to our dashboard, this is all going to update for us on our dashboard. So we can see it's still running the background query, and we can see now our sales value has updated, our profit, our cost of sales is updated, but what else has updated? So these charts here, token breakdown, so we're still holding 87%, we've sold 13% of our tokens. And we can see down here then that our exit strategy, everything else has basically updated for us, and we can follow. Now over here we can filter these down and look at individual values as well, and to clear the filter we press this. Now in here at the moment we have a nothing to see here, but what this is coins that are popping, or if you have some sort of a buyback opportunity, it's going to mention it in here. So at the moment we haven't got anything because nothing for our particular day has actually popped by 20% in the tokens that we have. So I've gone ahead and I've added in some more data here. So I've added in this token because I know it's gone over the popping percentage today, just to show how both its popping notification and the buyback notifications actually work. So I've actually put in a sale as well. For the buyback opportunity to happen, you need to have sold the token. And if you remember back at the early stage, back when we were setting up, so if I go back to our main menu and I go to the setup page, and in here we have a buyback drop of 20%. So if you sell something at one of your exit strategy levels and then it drops by this 20%, you'll get a buyback notification. So you can set this to whatever level you want, and you can set this, it's popping to whatever level you want as well. So if something pops by that amount in a day, you'll get a notification for this as well. So we go to the dashboard, and on the dashboard we can see once we've added in the data and refreshed, we have 1 coin is popping, and we also have 1 buyback opportunity. So if we go into the coins that's popping, it'll show us exactly what coin is popping and how much it's actually popping by for that particular day. So if you wanted to actually sell because it's popped so much kind of outside your exit strategy with an option for buying back in, well then you could do that based on a coin popping. You'd need to change and update your exit strategy to reflect your true transactions, and then you'll get a buyback notification and you can buy back in at that stage. So we see here we have a buyback, and we see that WIF has dropped by 26% since your last sale. The last sale point was $4. The current price is $2.60 or $2.96. So it's quite easy then to get these particular notifications from once you have your setup done correctly. Now there's some more stuff I wanted to show you here on the dashboard, and I specifically have put errors in here so you can see. So over here we have some red cells, we have some minus values. Now what happens if we have minus values? Well, basically what this is saying is that we introduced 60,000 in capital, but we sold 81,000, or we bought 81,000. We had sales of 15,000. So we actually are kind of short. How did we buy 81,000 when we never had that much in the first place? So this is something that we need to fix on this workbook. And if we go to our transaction entry, we will see here that the capital introduced, as we said, 60,000. It's higher than what we actually spent. So we spent 81,000. So there's obviously a problem somewhere if you have more money and you spent more money than what you introduced. So keep an eye out for them red figures. Now, how do you fix it? Well, first of all, maybe you didn't enter the capital introduced amount correctly. Maybe you took capital out and you haven't entered the capital out here. Or maybe you had other income from farming or from staking or anything else like that. So let's say I have 10,000 in other income. And what I'm going to do quickly now is a quick data. Oh no, I'm going to say 25,000. And I'm going to say data, and I'm going to refresh this now and refresh all. And I'm going to pop back to the dashboard, and that's refreshed our data for us here now on our dashboard. And if we scroll down to where we had the red figures, we can see now that the capital introduced was 60,000. We had other income of 25,000. We have purchases of 81,000. We've got sales of 15,000. And this would give us capital of 19,000 available. So we'd have that much actually sitting there available for us to spend. Now, so when we go back here now to our buyback, we can see in here as well that we do have amounts available to us, how much we have to spend, which is quite clear on our buyback opportunity sheet. So we can make them decisions fairly quickly if we need to make these decisions. Now, when you download this workbook, it is going to be populated with the sample data that we have in here. And what all you need to do is kind of update this. So just remove or delete out any items that are in the peach and the peach only. Do not delete out formulas from this workbook, or it's not going to actually work for you. And then you can enter your own figures in as you wish to. You may also want to, on the setup page, so when you select your currency, the sample data that I have in there is set at euros. So I put in 20,000 euros or 22,000 euros for a Bitcoin. If you update this now to GBP, it's going to update the entire workbook to the GBP prices, but it's not going to update the 22,000 that you hard coded in. The GBP sign will there, but it won't update. So you can't change this once you've started to add in your own data. So make sure you set it up correctly in the first place. And once then you have it set up, when you're on the transactions, feel free to play around with the dashboard before you enter in your transactions so you can get a feel for what's going on. Don't forget how to do a refresh. And just very quickly as well, so there is another video that's coming out that's going to work through some of the calculators with you. And the calculators, we can see that there is some farming calculators, there's an X calculator and a market cap calculator. And I use this market cap one quite often for planning at what levels I will be actually exiting the market. There's also another video from Simon over on the Crptorats channel. You're going to find a link to that as well, that talks in much more detail about the exit strategy sheet. If you would like to ask some questions, feel free to ping me an email if you've downloaded the workbook and you're having problems with it. And also keep an eye on our meetups, because we quite often do Q&As about this and help people with their exit strategy and Cryptotracker spreadsheet at the meetup as well. So do join us for a meetup. They're 100% free. We talk about crypto, Web3, blockchain in a friendly online manner, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. I really hope if you like this workbook that you do tell everybody about it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and do share the video across your social profiles. Best of luck in your crypto journey. Talk to you soon. Goodbye now. It's Paula here.